BBC News at midday. Philip Schofield has told the BBC he's lost everything and that his career is over following his affair with a younger male colleague from ITV's This Morning. In an interview with the BBC, he said he felt regret, remorse and guilt about the relationship with the man who he first met when he was 15. He denied grooming him and said there had been no sexual contact whilst the man was underage.
No, God, no. In my statement, it says, consensual relationship, fully legal. I mean, that was approved by both sides. That's no. He'd been working at the show for a few months and we become mates. And then in my dressing room one day, something happened.
The Culture, Media and Sports Committee announced plans yesterday to question ITV executives about the internal investigation into the relationship in 2020. The head of the committee, Dame Caroline Dinenage, says the potential abuse of power and safeguarding processes at the broadcaster need to be examined.
We know that these gods of broadcasting, if you like, have phenomenal power. And we want to make sure that not just at ITV, but more broadly across other public service broadcasters as well, there are the significant systems and processes in place that protect staff members from any abuse or manipulation.
Boris Johnson has said he'll give his unredacted WhatsApp messages directly to the COVID inquiry a day after the government said it would seek a judicial review of the demands to hand them over. In a letter to the head of the inquiry, Baroness Hallett, the former Prime Minister said he no longer had access to his notebooks as he handed these to the Cabinet Office, but would provide them as well if they were returned to him. 20,000 members of the RMT rail union are staging another 24-hour strike in their long-running dispute over pay, jobs and working conditions. It's the first of two walkouts this weekend, which could cause disruption to big sporting and music events. More from our business correspondent, Mark Ashdown.
This is the 29th walkout by rail workers since the dispute began a year ago. Today it's RMT members, station staff and guards who are on strike. Just half of rail services are expected to run. Some areas of England will get no trains whatsoever. The union said it regrets the action but said it must keep fighting to achieve a fair deal. The Rail Delivery Group, on behalf of the 14 operators, said an offer of a 5% pay rise for last year and a further 4% this year, depending on agreed changes to working practices, was reasonable and affordable.
Japan's birth rate has fallen for the 7th year running to a record low. It remains far below the level considered necessary to maintain a stable population. Last year, only 770,747 babies were born in the country, while the number of deaths rose to a new high of more than 1.5 million. One of Scotland's most important historical documents is going on display tomorrow for the first time in almost 2 decades. The Declaration of Arbroath, written in 1320, sought the Pope's recognition of Scottish independence. It'll be on show for the next month at the National Museum of Scotland in Edinburgh. Here's our Scotland correspondent, Lorna Gordon.
The Declaration of Arbroath was written during Scotland's long wars of independence with England, when, despite the Scots' success at the Battle of Bannockburn, Robert the Bruce was not recognised by the English as king. The 14th century letter, written in Latin, was a request from the Scottish barons for help from the Pope. 700 years on, 19 of their seals still remain on the historic and fragile document, which experts say can only be displayed occasionally in order to ensure its long-term preservation.
Lorna Gordon reporting. BBC News.